The industry has a few things that we have to take care of better, and one was the aftercare of the horses.
I think for years, quite honestly, the industry buried its head in the sand.
If we did nothing, these horses would end up in very bad places. That can't happen.
Go back to where we were years and years and decades ago when it was just considered de rigueur that you could just send these horses to slaughter.
I'd say the cost of doing nothing is enormous and it's unacceptable.
We have a social responsibility to make sure that thoroughbred aftercare is also #1 on the list.
The cost could be the entire industry. We have to take care of these horses after.
There were a lot of competing organizations out there, each one with its own unique ask for retired racehorses. But there wasn't any comfort level with those that were donating to these organizations that the proper veterinary care was being provided, the proper nutritional care, housing, anything like that.
It was just up to us to find a home for these horses, and there just weren't that many, and you didn't have the networking.
And that's the problem we were having. We were becoming very splintered, I think, in the aftercare, and they were going all different directions.
I remember that meeting at Belmont Park when this was really in its infancy, and well, it was a dream.
It's different than any other program that was put into place. And instead of having a big farm and putting your horses out there and trying to raise money, take care of them, it funds the people who do it and do it right and do it well.
TAA has totally changed the narrative within the industry and within the public. It is a first line of defense for those who are concerned about what happens to the equine athlete after he's done racing. It is a specific, direct, and significant, authentic response to that very reasonable concern.
It gave the horsemen, owners, the trainers, and the racetracks a system and a network of safety nets.
There was a level of comfort that many of the larger organizations in racing could experience, along with those people that absolutely love thoroughbreds and want to donate and care and make sure that their donations go to a worthy organization.
Without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses.
We started with some 21 organizations across the country, and now we're up to over 82 facilities throughout the country and giving away almost just under $25 million, $24.5 million.
As important as being safe is having a purposeful life after racing. Most of their life takes place after racing.
There's all different levels of retired horses. There's some that have had a serious injury. Those don't need to be ridden anymore, but there's a spot for them as babysitters or what a lot of people call yard ornaments. We just put them out in the yard and take care of them, and people love to be around them like a pet. But we've got to have some that have gone on and done great things. Cherry Wine, for one, has gone on to be a great jump horse.
One in particular, King Kanji, who's at Old Friends, the New York division. I remember his first start. we thought he was going to run well, and he ran into a horse by the name of Uncle Mo. He came out of a very difficult and a hazardous spot. Now he's living the life of Riley, and he's right up front. He's in the front paddock, and he's a joy, and I hear about him, especially when I come to Saratoga.
I think one of the most important elements of aftercare is being able to show the general public that we really care about our horses. And TAA has enabled the industry to have a defined, organized initiative where we can point to it and say, hey, this is what we are specifically doing to try to ensure that these horses receive the best care even when they are not top-level racehorses in a breeding career.
People do care. And people do think about it now, and we encourage people in our owners' conferences that we have. When you're doing this and getting into it, come up with a business plan and think about what you are going to do to provide for your horses when they can't race anymore.
Ten years ago, it was a small effort at best. Now it's significantly larger.
Just the word aftercare has become part of the discussion, has been part of the vernacular in a way that it was not when I started this position around the start of 2013.
When you see the retirement farms and the facilities that are accredited by the TAA, and they're well run, and they're doing the right thing day after day, you can't help but think that those horses, if they talk amongst themselves, they're like, boy, we are very, very lucky to be in this program.
The biggest challenge for aftercare is probably that we have the infrastructure in place. We have really great facilities that are accredited thanks to the TAA, but there's more and more of them, and I'm not necessarily sure that the pot of money that goes to support them, that's donated from the industry or that's part of a checkoff program from the industry, is growing at that same proportion.
Funding is our biggest issue now. The mechanics are pretty well set, but funding is always an issue.
The people that obtain these horses, most of them do not know where they go. Some of them are wonderful people. But now it's their responsibility. It's a living, breathing creature. Not a stock, not something, you just whatever. You have kind of responsibility.
It's a daunting task that the TAA and its accredited organizations have taken on. And that's why the industry itself has got to fund it. It has to find ways to fund it, and it does, and there's more ways to do it. There's creative ways to generate income that can help cover the cost of these horses being rehabilitated, retrained, and rehomed.
There's still a lot of work to be done, but I think it's provided real raw data, which is very interesting to see the amount of thoroughbreds and the great work that's been done and the work that is still to be done as well.
It's the one shining accomplishment that we have that we can point to say we really do love our horses. And we really care about what happens to them later. So I think the TAA is probably the most important thing that's happened in the thoroughbred industry in the last 10 years.
The staff of the TAA is really inspiring, the hard work that you do, and oftentimes recognized, and every time I turn around across the country, the TAA staff is there, and they're shaking hands, and they're kissing babies, and they're doing the blocking and tackling, right, that needs to be done.
Congrats to TAA on their 10-year anniversary. So much has been done in the past 10 years. And I think just building on the momentum and the foundation that's already there, getting more organizations accredited and increase in funding, and they're already doing a great thing. So I think just the volume of it, if it continues to increase, then we're on a great track.